This young man was with us last Wednesday, and we're so proud to have him back this Wednesday. He is absolutely just amazing. And what makes him amazing? Let me tell you what makes him such an amazing leader. I mean, we have been on cruises together. We have been halfway across the world on different events that we qualify for through ACN. And our biggest prayer is all y'all qualify for these trips, because you know what? All you got to do is go to work. He's a Cleveland Brown fan, as you can tell by his hat. He's got his Brown hat on. He homeschooled his 5 kids. He trains from the ACN stage at the convention for years after year after year after year. He's also assistant pastor at his church. He's a dear friend of mine. I'll say that again. He's a dear friend of mine. And he told you he's going to do something between last week and this week, and I can't wait to hear the results. I'm not going to say what it is, but I want to everybody, let's give a warm welcome to my dear friend down in Dallas, Texas, the one and only Mr. Stephen Payten II. Come on, everybody, give it up, give it up.
Thank you. All glory to God. Yes. And again, always I have to give it back to Mr. Thomas, who, like he said, we are dear friends, but to watch him as a leader, I always have to just really take the time out for you guys to really understand the importance of having a leader that has your back. That's so important in this business. It separates you so much so that I remember back when I first got on my run in ACN, I had got started and we were moving and grooving. We had so much going on. Like I became a top producing team coordinator, top 10, #1 regional director, which was a lot different than regional director. Now it was like RVP. And at the time, I remember we were blowing up Cleveland, and doing great things. And every time people would join, I would hear about it. And I had a friend of mine that saw the business through another team. And he had saw it through, yeah, I'm gonna get started. So then he got started. They okey doked him and said, we all team ACN or whatever. So he called me. He's like, "Hey, guess what? I joined." And I was like, "Okay." I was like, "That's what's up." And I knew that it was a great chance that he had joined my team because we had so much momentum. So when I asked him, what team are you? Because it would happen all the time, and it'd be somewhere in my organization. And he told me the team he was on. I was like, "Oh no." I'm like, you should have called me first. I was like, I'll help you as much as I can, And I told him, what to expect, and exactly what to expect happened. And he didn't do nothing. And, I actually talked to the same person. He's supposed to be joining my team. He got on to my PZE last week, but the moral of the story is what I ended up doing was I was confused. Why wasn't ACN working for this person or for people? The products work. The products make sense. I knew that this person was a leader and had a network. And one thing that I learned was that the team that you're a part of matters, because everybody doesn't have a leader that's going to have your back. Everybody doesn't have a SVP that's going to do calls with you, do presentations with you, and help you. So it's so easy to take for granted, but I don't take it for granted. I actually had a RVP at the time who is now SVP, Mr. Efren Tejada, who had my back. And he would always talk about how he has so many top producers on the charts. And I praise God I ended up on his team. So don't take it for granted when you get to be with a superstar that's not just a SVP, but he actually is still in the trenches helping you guys and working with you guys and taking the time out to even do this call every day is that's love. So don't take it for granted. I appreciate you, Mr. Thomas, and I appreciate you so much. Even when I stay out there and I see how hard you work and how early you get up to help people and support them and serve them, That's my favorite part of getting on this call, is just being able to talk about how great of an individual he is. So he mentioned last week. So some of you guys who weren't on, I'm a regional vice president. I got started. I used to work in lawn and garden, and I worked a ton of hours, 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. Monday through Saturday. On Sundays, I was a youth pastor, and my youth hours would fall on Sunday. So I was super busy, and I had 4 under 4. And at the time, my son said, "Daddy, do you sleep with mommy?" Because he would never see me there. So I started praying and looking for something that God put AC in my life, and I took it serious. After 10 months, I went full time with the company. Then I hit regional director, then regional vice president in just 2 years, and then platinum regional vice president, and then became a Circle of Champions. And now I have over 8,000 business partners and over 40,000 customers. And I'm gonna talk to you guys about rebuilding today, because that's the name of the game. You got to rebuild. When I was out there with Mr. Thomas a few months back, that's what he was talking about. Talking to new people, meeting new people, and rebuilding. And I'm gonna tell you, that's exactly what I'm doing right now. And it really reminded me of a story. So we had Midnight Madness on Monday with some of my leaders. Okay. And so just so you guys know, this is all open line, brand new. You guys remember Maria Huff, so I threw her a bone just because I can, because they all personal recruits. And that's a new leg that I started. And I want her sister to hit a bonus. And then I got a couple more myself. So I got 4 brand new personal recruit reps from my own personal meeting last week, and then some. So altogether 6 reps total. And I told y'all I was gonna do it. And the reason why I did it was because I could do anything. I could do anything I put my mind to. I can say it. You can. I told my mentor years ago, let's make a bet. Throw a number out there, and I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna make it happen. And the reason why I'm gonna make it happen every time, 10 out of 10 times, is because I got work ethic, and most people don't. Most people fake it. Like, you want to, like, I'll have a meeting, and like even in the beginning of the call, and I don't mean to offend anybody, but people that want to fake work ethic can say, "Oh, I got a couple of gas bills. I got a flash phone." Now look, that all matters. Billing is important. It's very important. You got to go get customers. Period. It's imperative. We are a customer acquisition company. But that does not saying every week I got 2 flash customers. Then you could say that every week for a month. I mean, every week for a year. And guess what position you'll still be at? A no momentum position. You won't be making the type of money that I'm talking about. You won't be making 10 grand a week like that, like Hunter was able to do, doing that. So what I'm telling you today is, you have to put in elite work ethic. Now, if you just want to, I ain't talking to everybody. If you just want to supplement your income and make money on the side, then that's perfect, because those 2 services are going to add up, because every 3 services you get is $200. But for me, I have 4 kids and 1 on the way. Okay. I had to make life-changing income. My goal was to make 10 grand a month. That was my goal, because I wanted to be able to spend time with my kids. I wanted to be able to walk away from my job. So for those people that think like me, I'm talking to you right now. And for those that have had momentum before, you got to rebuild the momentum. So we had Midnight Madness, and during Midnight Madness, we had, I'm gonna show y'all actually. We Midnight Madness is like this. We get with some of the leaders. I got some leaders from Mr. Tarali's team. Mr. Tarali's on, myself, and we work together with Mr. Tejada. We 2 different legs in his organization, and we get together and we talk about our numbers for the week. And my numbers, I had like 40 exposures, and that's not a lot. And everybody else had less than 10 exposures. Everybody else. And one of the leaders had named Ray had beat me for the week before. And I told him, I said, look, you beat me in Midnight Madness, but your numbers will not sustain because you can get 2 reps, 3 reps, 4 reps just from, you ran into 3 or 4 red apples. But the numbers, if the numbers aren't right, then you won't be consistent. Okay. So I think he had like 13 exposures and got 4 reps. I'm like, that's phenomenal. That's a phenomenal week. But you gotta have a consistent amount of exposures for that to happen. So what I'm trying to do is consistently show them what to do to expose. So I sat down with them and we talked about some things, and then I remembered something. I remember what brought me to this point to be able to do everything like this. And it was back in the day. We had Midnight Madness, so we would get with the leaders, and this was before Zoom, so I didn't get to get with Mr. Tejada all the way in California, and I was in Cleveland, Ohio. And we used to have Midnight Madness. First, we would have it at my house. Then we moved to have it at Denny's, and we would all meet together at Denny's. And I was a team coordinator at the time, and I had I got the team coordinator quick. I got the team coordinator in 10 months. I was that was like regional director now. So you needed to have 200 points and 3 separate legs, 600 points total. And I was doing good. My first month as a team coordinator, first full month, I made 10 grand. My second month, I made 12 grand. My third month, I made 15 grand. Every month, I made 10 to 15 grand. I was moving and grooving. And one of my RVPs now, Mr. Churn, was about to hit team coordinator. And when he was about to hit, my mentor told me, you need to continue to work in that line of business. I was like, okay. He said, you got to continue to help. That could be $1 million leg, because he had Mike Pasuti. He said, Mike Pasuti was like that for me. I said, okay. I said, I'll do that. So he hit team coordinator, which is now regional director. And I said, okay, now he hit. I said, okay, now let me help my cousin, Greg Borden, get to regional, to get to team coordinator, because that'll give me the regional director, which is like regional vice president now, regular regional vice president. And he said, no, don't do that. He said, still work with Antonio, still work with him, make sure that he has a strong business. I said, okay. So I'm working with him. I mean, I'm working hard. Like we have a meeting, 60 confirmations, 30 people in there, 12 people sign up at the house. We have another meeting. It's just every day, just 6 and 8 every day, making it rain. Man, we got him over 50 business partners, 50 something, made him $15,000 his first month as a team coordinator, $15,000. And that was the only month as a team coordinator that I didn't make 10 to 15 grand. I only made 2 grand on the side, because at the time, when you have somebody get to your same position, that cuts you off from bonus money. So it cut me off. So I only had a little bit coming in, and I had to provide for my family. So I was like, man, what do I do? And I was shook. I get to Midnight Madness on Monday, and we all there with the team, and the team is predominantly under Antonio, right? Under Mr. Churn, because that's where all the momentum was from the beginning when I got started through then. Most of the momentum was up under him. Some was up under, so we had, at the time I had 3 people up under Greg, but it was to get 10 to 15 up under Antonio. All in Midnight Man. I'm talking about leaders producing. And I get to Midnight Madness. And I'm like, okay, I'm ready with the agenda from Mr. Tejada and L'Oreal Churn, who's Antonio's wife, says, now we get to see who the real leader is. And was like it was like a coup. Like totally everybody's against me at this point. I'm like, I'm like steaming, but I'm so stressed out. Like, what do I do? Because technically all my money went to them. All of the production is up under them. And I don't really have a comeback. I'm so stressed. I can't wait to leave. Everybody was against me. And I called Mr. Tejada that night at like 1 a.m. And I'm like, hey, I got a problem. I don't know what to do. And I wanted to cry, like for real. Like, and I said, what do I do? Like, can you believe all the work that I put in, everything I done? And this girl in Midnight Madness gonna say, now we get to see who the real leader is. And then he was like, well, he was like, that's a good problem to have. He said, Steve, you got a leader. I was like, what? She disrespected me in front of everybody. I'm the one doing all the work. I got a leader. Like, that's the advice that you're giving me. Like, I'm telling you, like, you got a leader. It's hard to get a leader. You got a leader. And I was like, okay. And I'm listening. And he said, and she's right. It's like, this is the worst advice ever. Like, this is the worst mentor, like right now. Like, I'm like really struggling. And this is what you're telling me right now. Like, I'm like, okay, I'm about to make Greg uh, a regional team coordinator so I can hit the next position. And he said, no. He said, this is what makes you a leader. He said, are they right? This is what separates people. Are they right or are they wrong? Are you a real leader? You have to rebuild. You have to now compete with your team and show them that you're the real leader. And then he said, then they'll listen to you again. So just like I did this past week, I went in the lab, made me a new list. Now look, y'all got to listen closely because anybody can make a new list. You're lying to yourself when you say, oh, I ran out of, I've been doing ACN for 11 years. I talk to everybody. I made my team hear what I go through. So it's worse than what you're going to go through because everybody know I'm Mr. ACN at this point. Everybody. I mean, I got messages on here I can show you and they saying to me, what are you doing? You calling me about ACN? They won't even answer my call. They know. Like when they see the phone ring, and I mean, I haven't brought up ACN to them in years. I'm talking about years, 5, 6, 7, 8 years, like years. And they just know, like, something must be up if I'm calling. And I don't sugarcoat it. I call them flat out because I know who I am and I know what I bring to the table. And guess what? Because I know who I am and I know what I bring to the table, people that have seen it before. I got one person that has seen it and said, I'm skeptical. I would have never have done this before. He ended up joining. He said, I've always been skeptical, but you've been doing it for a long time. I got somebody else that got in years ago, and then two new people, from Pekin people. So back then, I went in the lab. It was close to Christmas, so on Christmas, I piqued my sister-in-law. I got her in the business, and then my sister-in-law I made calls with her, and she got confirmations, and she got somebody in. I'll never forget. She said, what do I do to expand? I said, call everybody, get people off of Facebook. She got a childhood friend that she hadn't seen since kindergarten on her list named Tierra. She joined. She was the only person that joined from her meeting. My sister-in-law was so hurt that none of her friends, she was going to college, none of her friends from college came to her meeting. They said they were coming. She was about to pledge at the time. None of the people went. That she ended up stopping. But one person got in named Tierra. Tierra introduced me to somebody, to her cousin, Dawn Stoudemire, who is one of my big legs. I had from Momentum, 20 regional directors that came out of that leg. And, she was my closest, she's my closest person to the position of RVP right now. And got crazy, crazy momentum. I was able to make $12,000, and I got 40 reps that month, brand new. And I'm doing the same thing right now. And it's all about you. That's what it's about. Like, wherever I go, there I am. I'm a momentum starter. It don't matter. Somebody contacted my mentor and was talking to him the other day, talking about something. It's a old RVP in the business that went on to another company. He said, ain't nobody making money in ACN. This is what he said. He said, I don't want to come back. Ain't nobody making money in ACN. He said, because he was one of the competing RVPs with me that moved to Ohio. He said, what's Payten doing? He said, I don't see the same people going to his meetings, weekly meetings every week. And I was like, he right. He named a couple of people. I was like, he right. It is a couple of people that's not going. But that ain't affecting me. That don't affect me at all. People come and go. But who remains? The people that endure. I'm still here. I mean, you can't ask how many RVPs that Mr. Thomas has had. That don't matter to me. Because guess what? I'm always going to rebuild. And that's the difference between me and most of my leaders. And that's the difference between me and some of you guys. You have to rebuild. You have to personal recruit. You have to make a new list. So what you need to do, I know y'all don't want to hear it because it's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable. You're going to get rejected. I hate it. I told my team, I met with my leaders, my Midnight Madness league. I said, look, I'm talking to y'all because I'm real with y'all. This is leadership. And I'm being real with y'all right now. Say, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do it. I don't feel like it. I know that means I'm going to have to work. And Paul Styles is on here. He just logged in. So he saw everything because he's one of my Midnight Madness leaders. He saw everything that I said on Monday and what I've been saying, the struggle, because I'm a regular person just like you. I don't necessarily want to do it. I look at my list like, man, I don't want to call these people because that means that I'm going to have to work hard. I'm going to have to help them get qualified. I'm going to have to hear their excuses. It's so much easier talking to somebody that's coachable and that's a leader, that wants it, that wants to make it happen like you guys, But a lot of us, once we get that person on our team, we stop. And you got to keep going. You got to keep moving. You got to always start a new leg and rebuild. Always making your list. Always, I got a list on top of list on top of list. List of people that I peak. List of people that I'm creating and making. Always getting numbers from people. From different things that my kids do to everything. But you got the list. The people that I got in though are from my old list. People that said no before, join. People that got in before, rejoin. That's it. That's who I got. So it's all good. You got to go back to those people. I told Paul, who just joined the call, I said, Paul, you got 200 customers. It's time to go back to, and all of Paul's customers, all his 200 customers are not from his network. They're not from his friends and family. I said, it's been 9 years. It's time for you to go to your friends and family now. Your longevity is going to build credibility. It's time to make a new list. And that's for all of y'all on here. It's time to go to work. You can't keep saying what you go do and trying to get fired up. Oh, I'm going to get on another leadership call and see if I can get fired up. The only thing that's going to fire you up is action. And that's what I told my Midnight Madness team. And that's what I said, look, the reason why I got to do this is for her, for Maria. I got to show her that it can be done. I got to build belief. I said, so while I'm going to ask you guys to get on my calls and stuff so you guys can see, me putting in the work, but I'm going to put in that work and I'm going to have another regional vice president leg. because that's what I do. I build. I get it done. I'm going to get it done, but you can get it done. It's nothing special about me. You could do the same thing. You just got to make your list, okay? Make a new list. Don't be lazy. You got to trick yourself. That's what I tell my Midnight Madness leaders all the time. You got to trick yourself to do what you don't feel like doing. That's it. Don't tell me you don't have a list. Don't tell me you don't know people. You do. I'm looking at your eyes right now. You do. You got the people. You just scared. So then Kasana said in Midnight Madness, she was like, "You right." And I got a message on YouTube called "Winning the War." I got on my channel, and on there I talked about faith without works is dead, and that in order to have faith and works work together, your faith shows your work. Period. Always. Your faith shows your work. So the disciples, they have faith. When they saw Jesus come back and resurrected, that it was a wrap. They was ready to die. We saw Jesus. Our belief is so high. We ready to die. It don't matter what nobody say. They go get crucified upside down, beheaded. All this stuff happened to them. They ready. It's a wrap. Jesus did what he said he was going to do. Their belief was so high. So if they put in work, now look at the church. When Paul had a Damascus Road experience, Paul was persecuting Christians. He like, this Jesus is fake. This Jesus is not real. But when he saw Jesus for himself, and Jesus said, "Why are you persecuting my people?" He had this Damascus Road experience. What happened? He put in work. He put in work. His faith. That shows your faith. So Kasana said in Midnight Madness on Monday, she said, "You right. My faith not showing that I believe in ACN. That's it. Your faith don't show that you believe in ACN. Your works don't show it. Your works got to show it. My works show it. My works show that I'm sustaining. No matter what goes on, no matter what happens, my belief is still there. I know it. What does your belief look like? What does your faith look like? Show me your works. That's what tells me. Who are you talking to? Are you getting cussed out? Are you getting dogged out? Are you getting people to block your calls or not? Because if you're not doing ACN. Your belief really not high. Because we have an opportunity, especially right now, with Impact Healthcare and with that energy bonus that's popping. I've been praying, Lord, please extend it one more month, and then I'm gonna pray again next month. But with that, it's just an unbelievable opportunity. It's a laydown to show people the business. And then you got somebody like Mr. Thomas and myself, leaders that are going to help you do it. Man, oh man, I did it by myself. I was out here by myself making stuff happen. Do y'all know I was by myself? This is why you can't tell me nothing. I was by myself. Mr. Tejada called me when I hit team coordinator and said, "Congratulations." That was the only conversation I had with him. Once I hit team coordinator, which is regional director now. It's not regional coordinator. Once I got to 600 points in 10 months, that's when he called me and said, "Congratulations." Then I had some mentorship from California, and we didn't have Zoom. So I was still doing everything. And once a year, he would come and do a regional event. But I had to put in the work. It didn't matter who I had. I just kept showing people, exposing people. And then when I would get a new leg, I would help them out. And we would have meetings over and over and over again. So you got to put in the work. It's good to get customers and say on here, I got some Zoom energies. I got some, bro, where your list at? That's what I want to know. When you work with me, I want to know where's your list? Let me see your new list. Let me see your phone. Those are the questions that I have. How many people do you have on your phone? Who do you have on social media? Have you been messaging them? Because that's how you get it popping. That's how you get leverage, in the business. You gotta build a team also and get customers. But guess what? Guess who got customers last week? Me. And I got more than 2. Got 12. I got more than 2. Because guess what? The people who didn't join, what's up? That's how you do it. That's what I want y'all to post next time. I'm gonna get on here just so I can see that. That's what I want to see. Did it land? Who did it? I want to see. I got 2 reps and some customers. That's what I want to see. Who are you talking to? Because that's how you go build your business. You are not going to get to RVP. Listen, do you know how hard it is to get to RVP Platinum? How many RVP Platinum promotions have we seen? For y'all that's been in a long time. I had 200,000. I had RVP Gold in 2 years. I'm talking about from scratch, from being brand new to hitting RVP. When I hit RVP, I had 200,000 in billing in just 2 years. Why? Because I was getting, as a team coordinator, 30 to 50 reps a month. Then I duplicated that. So then my team was getting that, and then I still was doing it on the side. What did I tell y'all with that story with Mr. Churn? I got him 50, but then the next month separate, I got 40. Those people that was doing it though, I didn't tell y'all, we got 100 total from all of the people. You know what I'm saying? So then you got to duplicate it. So that's why I'm like, I can't just get Maria in the business and then leave her hanging. I'm like, this gonna take forever. Like, I gotta show her how it's done. I gotta lead by example. And that's what I'm doing. So I hope that you guys are doing it. I can't wait to see you guys in Orlando. I can't wait to see people get promotions and take advantage of everything that's in place right now. But you got to put in the work. Paul Styles on here, Sergeant Styles. And I told them, I said, I leveraged you guys because I didn't want to do it. But I told you I was going to do it. So I had to be my word. So I had to put the work in. So that's what I told him. I said to Sergeant Styles and to the other people in Midnight Madness, I said, I tricked myself because I know everybody not like me. So everybody's not going, you can say it and you be okay with it. Like, okay with just throwing numbers out and being fake and just saying whatever. But I'm not okay with it because now I have accountability. I don't want to look wrong to Mr. Thomas. I don't want to look wrong to you guys. So they said, so how did you win? I had the best week that I've had since being in Midnight Madness. And I don't know how long we've been doing it, probably about a year together where we all combined like that. And the reason was accountability. I wanted to be held accountable to you guys. That's what I'm saying. Like, at some point, somebody on here got to be like, look, put in the chat and copy it. Like, how many reps you go get? How many meetings you go get? And then you got to look like, you know, whoever you are. Faking it. You got to expose yourself. Because y'all fake do ACN. I do it for real. Like, I do it. I do this thing. And my family know, my friends know, you know who else know? The founders know. They know. I talk to them all the time. They got my back. I do it. And they know what's up. They know if I'm not doing it. If I'm not working that hard, I'm still doing it. I'm still working every day. And we do calls and stuff. But I may not be in phase 1. And I'll tell them, hey, right now in this season, I've been focused on mainly going to my kids' practices and stuff like that. But like, I'm going to, this is what I told them. But right before Orlando, I'm going to ramp up and I'm going to close the year off strong. I tell them, because I know what it takes. I'm going to do it. I'm like, bro, I got y'all back. That's how y'all got to be too. Like, that's what y'all really should start doing on this thing, on the leadership. What y'all go do? Who's going to say, I'm going to get this many reps or I'm going to have this many presentations? Because you got to do stuff to trick yourself. I tricked myself. That's what I said. Ask Sergeant Styles. I said, man, this is my opportunity to go to work. And I looked at my phone. I'm like, and I looked at my list. I actually got to call these people now. How many people actually made a list before, but then just didn't do nothing with it? You like, you know, the rejection sucks. The people not being their word. Then you get somebody in the business, you feel whack because they whack. They don't want to do it. But guess what? When you put in the work, you find your Maria. That's the only way you go find them. You find your Sergeant Stop. That's the only way you go find them. That's the only way you go find your Brian Baker. Where's your Brian Baker? I got a lot of them. Where's your Sam Foster? I got a lot of them. Where's yours though? That's what I always tell my team. I would always tell them when we do leaderships like this, I'll be like, look, this is my team. Everybody on here is on my team. Where's your team at? Where's your leaders? You know why my leaders is in 8, 9 different legs, regional director legs? Because I keep building new legs and building new leaders. Why aren't you doing it? Where is your leaders at? Even on this call, I'm looking and I'm seeing different legs. David O'Neal in a different leg. Keith Ringo, Mr. Ringo, different leg. They all in different leg. Paul Styles, different leg. Maria Huff, different leg. Monica Graves, different leg. These are people on my team that are in different legs on here. Where's your legs represented on here? You know, and if you say, oh, I got them in before, you know why they didn't stick? Because you didn't stick to the system. You got to keep recruiting, keep leading by example. So I'm going to give the call back over to my friend and one of my mentors. He's not just a mentor in ACN, but he's a mentor outside of ACN. Just so wise when it comes down to diversification. And, I appreciate you so much, your friendship, Mr. Al Thomas.